Hello everyone, it's Professor Sadiq Noor, and today I'm gonna show you in this video how to work with large worksheets, charting, and what-if analysis. So the objective of this video is to show you how to rotate text in a cell, how to create a series using the fill handle, how to copy, paste, insert, and delete cells, how to format number using format symbols, how to enter and format the system date, how to use absolute and mixed cell references in a formula, how to use the if function to perform logical testing, how to create and format a spark line chart, how to change the spark line chart types and style, how to use the format painter button to format the cells, how to create a cluster column chart, how to use the chart filter to display a subset of a data in a chart, how to change the chart type and style, how to reorder the sheets, how to create worksheet view, how to freeze and unfreeze the rows and columns, how to answer what if question, how to use the goal seek to answer what if question, and how to research financial terms using the smart lookup, and how to use the accessibility features. So the first thing, let me share my screen. And now we need to open Excel. Always we have to start with a blank workbook. So in this case here now, the first thing is in this video, we're gonna use something called acceptions. Acceptions, all right? So acceptions is what we call it in English. Acception are cells value that you can change to determine a new values for a formula, right? So we're gonna assume these numbers to create for us a new value in the other cell. So we're gonna use exception, you can say it. So we will assume those numbers, and then we're gonna use those exceptions in a formula to create a new answer or a new value for the new cells. All right. So to do that, let's start. The first thing always, as you have seen in Excel, you have to start with giving a title to your worksheet, right? So to do that, the first thing is we have to go to A1. So a little bit for the newcomers, actually, if you did not save your workbook, is gonna be book one. So always we have to give a name to specify your work. What kind of workbook is this? So my workbook still is not saved. The other thing, these are the quick access toolbar. Below the quick access toolbar is your tabs. This is your ribbon here. This is your ribbon. Above the ribbon is your tabs, right? So the ribbon consists of groups, as you see, and the group has names, numbers, style, cells, editing, formula bar. Everything you type in a cell will be visible on the formula bar, the name box, and then this is if you want to insert any function. And if you type something and you want to enter that stuff, you can click on this check sign. If you don't want to enter that value to the cell, then hit the X, right? So the first thing we're going to say in A1, north, northern, gateway, auto. And then in A2 is a 5-year financial projection. Now we have to change the theme of our workbook. So to do that, we have to go to page layout, and then we have to go to the first group, teams. Under the teams, we have to look for organic. Organic. As you see, when I'm moving around, it changed, right? So we need organic. So now you see the text font changes. After that, now we're gonna do, the next step is to rotate the text, and then we have to use the fill handler to create the series of the text that we rotated, right? So in this case, we're gonna type in B3, we're gonna say 2026, right? And then we're gonna go back to B3. We're gonna go to the home, right? And then we're gonna click on alignment, the small gray down arrow, the launcher. And then the rotation we want is we want to make it 60, right? You could tap 60, you can spin the arrow, the up arrow, or you can move this line here until you see 60, and then you're gonna stop it. 60-degree, right? And then you have to click OK. So we want to rotate the information in B23 to a 60-degree. Now we have to fill it until the column F, right? So you will hold the square, not the tick plus, you need the small tiny plus sign when you move your cursor over the small square box. And then hold the left key of your mouse and move it to F. All right? So let's do it again. So in this case, it copied the 2026. You see that, right? So after that, the next thing we want to do now, if you click here on the autofill option here, and then it says copy the cell, right? So you could also choose fill the series, right? Or you can say fill without formatting, right? So let's check. The next option is to do what? So these are different kinds of option, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go and choose this, right? Say fill. I choose this and I say fill the series, right? So we're gonna go to G 3, and then we're gonna type total, and then we're gonna type chart, right? So what we're gonna do now, we will highlight this and then click the fill option. Let's see again. Now we will go here, and then we're gonna say fill formatting only, right? Fill formatting. We don't want the series. So fill formatting. Fill formatting only. All right. Perfect. Now the next is we're gonna be now increasing the column width, right? To do that, we have to select the column A, and then we have to move it to 27. So column A, now it's A, so 27. 27 to 88. 27, 88. All right. Now we have to select the column B all the way to H, and we have to change the width, right? So from we can move the column to 15. So let's say B, hold the shift key to H, and then any one of it, we can drag it to 1525. 1525 from the screen TV telling me the width is. All right, perfect. Now we need to enter and indent the row title. All right. So for this one in A4, we're gonna type occupancy, occupancy, rate. Then the next one in A5, we're gonna say revenue, right? And then we're gonna say average daily rate. And then in A6, we put average daily now. Total room revenue. All right. Now in A8, we're gonna say other revenue. In A9, we're gonna say restaurant. Spa, events, corporate, bonus. In A12, corporate bonus. And then total revenue. Then we have cost of goods sold. And then we have cost of food and beverages. In A16, we're gonna say labor. Then we have total cost of goods sold. And then in A19, so let's leave the A18 empty. So we have gross margin, and then we have percent in A20. All right. So what we want to do now, we want to indent the cells, right? So like, for example, the average daily rate should be indented, right? So you will go to the alignment, and then you see this one here, decrease, indent or increase. So we want to increase. So that one is done. Then we have the total room revenue, other, and then we want restaurant, spa, and corporate to be indented. So highlight A9 all the way to A12, alignment again, and click on increase indent. Then the next one, cost of goods sold. So we have cost of food, labor. This has to be indented. So highlight A15 and A16 and then click on indent. And then we have the gross margin and the percent. Perfect. Now we need to copy a range of cells to a non-adjacent destination area. That will be the hotel acceptance section should be placed in an area of the worksheet that is accessible yet does not impair the view of the main section of the worksheet. So somewhere down, we have to put those exceptions, right? So to do that, what we want to do is we're gonna be copy, right? We're gonna copy and then we're gonna paste it, right? So we will copy restaurant, spa and event, right? And then we're gonna copy it, going to the home tab, then clipboard, and then copy, right? Now we're gonna go to J. So let's go a little bit up. So we're gonna go to J, and we're gonna type here hotel acception, and then we're gonna paste. So we have to do it again because I pressed the enter key, right? So copy again this, copy. Where you see the flashing dots, that is copy. Now we have to go to J4 and we have to paste the exception. All right. Now we need to skip. You have to press the skip key because of the flashing dots to deselect the feature of the copy. All right. So after we copied A9 all the way to A11, and then we went and then we pasted under J4. Now we need to click on decrease the indent. So we will go back to the alignment. This one is decrease. So we move it back to the left. All right. Now the next is to insert and deleting cells in a worksheet, right? So why we need to insert a cell? According to the sketch of the worksheet, 3 cells must be inserted in the hotel exception table above the restaurant, right? So to do that, let's move to J4 and do right click on it and then insert, right? Insert. And then we want to insert a shift cell down and then click OK. All right. So we did that. Now we need to, in J4, we're gonna type we're gonna type rooms. So obviously we need to have a couple more here. So we can do right click, insert, and then we're gonna see you can put like this, right? Control and Z. Or you can go here, insert under the cells and insert. And then you want to insert a new row or insert a sheet, insert a cell. You see what I did that? And then we're gonna say entire row if you want to. Look it as a new row. Control and Z, right? So what we want to do next, we will now insert and then we will click, we did the OK. And then we have to repeat the process again. So we will go here and then we will go right click, insert, shift, okay. Then we're gonna do right click on the restaurant, insert, shift, okay. So we have two X. So let's type now here occupancy rate, and then we want room rate, right? And then we have restaurant, spa, event, and then we're gonna add below the event expenses, and then we're gonna do bonus. We're gonna do bonus. All right. So after we did this, the next thing we want to now to enter the number with format symbol. All right. So to do that, we will go now to the exception again, go to the right. So we're gonna be assuming now the rooms, values, and so on, right? So in this case, the room is 60. And then we have in K 60, so we put that. Next, we have 5.00%. That this will be our exception. And then we have the room rate is 3.50%. And then we have restaurant is 10. Next is spa is 8%. Event is 15%. Expenses are 4. And then the in K11 we're gonna type 50,000. So this one we don't want it to be percent. So it has to be 50,000. And also we need to have the dollar amount with it. Perfect. All right. Now we need to enter the first year of a projected revenue and expenses. All right. So let's go back here. And then we're gonna go back to B, to B4. B4, we're gonna type 40%. And then B6, B6, we're gonna type 135. And then we will go down to B9, 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 we're gonna type so we need to have the comma, all right? But if you don't want the decimal place, you can just go here, all right? Then 46,000. You want the comma without the decimal place, right? And then you in B11, in B11 we have to type 78,000. So we're gonna do the same thing. We give it the comma and then double click the decrease decimal twice to remove the decimal. Then we will go to the cost of good, cost of good. Here, cost of food and beverage is 38,500. And then the last one we're gonna put there is the labor. So now you can highlight these two. You can give them comma, and then you can remove the decimals. Perfect. Now we need to enter the date and we need to format the system date. So to do that, what we want to do here, we have to go to G1, G1, G1. And then we're going to start, whenever you want to pull up the system date and time, we have a function which is now. So it start with an equal and put now. And you can double click it the now and then close the parentheses. All right. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to the insert function and then you will go here under the select the category, select the date and time. And now from here, you have to find now. Now. Click OK. And then click OK. It's the same thing, right? Next, we need to format the date. So we have to do right click and then we have to go to the format cells. We will go to the number tab and then we need date and then we want to change it to the third one in line, the year first, right? And then click over. That's the desired format we are looking at. As you see, it change accordingly. All right. Now we have to work with absolute versus relative addressing. So the thing is, when you want to make your cell value to remain constant while you're going to copy the formula, then you have to make that cell as an absolute cell references. So the absolute cell references is a formula, in a formula is a cell address that refer to a specific cell and does not change when you copy the formula and paste it in another location, right? Then the next one, Excel is always relative cell references. And whenever you copy the formula to the next cell, so always Excel assume that there is a value that you want to copy to the other cells, right? So Excel is always relative cell references. Is a cell address in a formula that automatically changes to reflect the new location when the formula is copied or moved, right? So Excel is always relative cell references when you copy the formula. Why is that? Is a cell because when it's a relative cell reference is a cell address in a formula that automatically changes to reflect the new location when the formula is copied or moved. Whereas an absolute cell reference is in a formula is a cell address that refers to a specific cell and does not change when you copy the formula and paste it in another location, right? So in this case, we're gonna explore the absolute, right? So let's see. So the next one now we're gonna do here is this. So we're gonna put the formula in place, right? So to do that, the first thing I'm gonna do here is that we're gonna enter the formula containing absolute cell references, right? So to do that, I will go to B7. You will start with equal, and then you're gonna say equal K4. So type K4. K4 is something here, all right? The 60, all right? So let me try to, let's see. So K4, I said, is this here, the rooms, the assumption that we made, right? So let me do it like this. And then multiply by B4, multiply by B6, right? Multiply by 365. Now we're gonna press the enter key. All right. Now, when you're gonna copy the formula, right? We will have a problem. Look, if you copy the formula for 2027, look, I don't have anything. Why? Because I didn't put anything here yet, right? But if you copy the formula, look now, if you double click here, L4. Do you have anything in L4? So I don't have anything. So if you don't make the K4 to be absolute, Excel will keep on moving to the right because assuming that you use K4, it means there is something in L4 and so on you want to use in the formula, right? So we want to make this to remain static. We want to make this to be absolute. So when I will copy the formula for 2017, 2028, 2029, 2030, the 60 that the rooms that we have the assumption, it should remain what? Absolute. So to do that, we will have to use the absolute. So you will go here and then you will go back here. I will delete it so I can start again. So equal K4. So you want to make the K4 to be absolute. You have to press the FN F4. See, you notice that now the K4 has a dollar sign before the column and dollar sign before the row. That means you want to make the K4 to be what? Absolute. You don't want to move when I will copy the formula up or down, right? Or to the right, to the bottom. So once you have fixed it, the K4, so what you need to do is you have to press the FN to get the shortcut FN. At the same time, you have to press F4. So if your keyboard or you are using a laptop and the laptop has an FN, so you have to press the FN at the same time, press F4 to get the absolute. Otherwise, it's not going to be absolute, right? So to make the cell reference absolute, so you will need to press what I show you, right? FN and F4, all right? After this one here, then we're gonna say multiply by B4. B4 is the occupancy rate. Multiply by B6. B6 is your average daily rate. Multiply by 365 days. So always the first one will be right? So when I will put the other value here for the occupancy rate, then you will see that it's not gonna change the value, right? So I will show you later on. So the next thing we want to do, we have to use the if condition now. The if condition is used when you want to do a comparison. You will have a logical testing. If age greater 18, then he will be admitted to the college. Otherwise, no, he will not be admitted if it's false, right? So to do that, we will go now in B12 to find the corporate bonus, right? So then we will go here to the FX, or I can go to the formulas. I can go to the function library, logical, and if, right? It's gonna open the if dialog box. If what? If, if, now we're gonna be also using the sum. So if sum what? B9 colon B11, right? After you sum B9 all the way to B11 means you're gonna be adding the restaurant and the event, right? So sum the B9 all the way to B11, and then after you get the sum of these, greater open a parenthesis, greater B, B7, B7 multiply by 20%. All right. Let me do it again. B7 multiplied by 20%. Close the parenthesis. Now, if it's true, then give it, give it, give it K11. So if you see, we have K11 here. K11, give them 50,000 bonus. So you will say, if it's true, then give them K11. You have to make the K11 absolute. So hold the Fn and F4. Oh, perfect. Otherwise, if it's not, after you add the B9 all the way the B11, and if it's greater B7, multiply by 20%, then if it's true, then give them the hotel exception that you made, 50,000, otherwise 0. So if you look here, the first one will be 0. Now click OK. So the first one is 0. Because you get 0 because 0 assigned to a cell B12 because the results of the logical test was what? False. Now let's go to B13. Right? The total revenue. So the total revenue is gonna be B13 equal B7, the total revenue, the total room revenue, plus we wanna sum this, all right, the other revenues. So B9 all the way to B12. So then we will say sum, the sum function, and then we're gonna highlight B9 all the way to B12. Now close the parenthesis. Now press the enter key. All right. Now B17. B17. B17 is the total cost of goods sold, right? So we're gonna use the auto sum. So to do that, I can use the auto sum from here under the formulas function library, or you can go to the home. You can click here and the sum, right? So we have to insert the sum twice, right? So let's go back here. So it says 448. So let's see. So we want to sum B15 all the way to B16, right? So that's the range finder. So perfect. Skip. All right. Now the next thing we want to do is B19. So let's go down the margin. So the gross margin is equal B13, which is the total revenue, minus B17, which is the total cost of goods sold. That should give us the gross margin, right? Now, the next one, the percentage, right? So equal B19 divided by B13. Now we have to go to C4. C4. And then we're gonna say equal B4 multiply, open a parenthesis, 1 plus K, K5. K5 is this guy here, the 5%, the occupancy rate, 5%. So for this one, we have to make it absolute. So F and F4, because I want to make the K5 to remain absolute. And then press the enter key. All right. Now, next, now here in C6, we're gonna do something. Give me a second. Now we have to go to C6, right? And then we're gonna type this formula equal B6 multiply and then open a parenthesis 1 plus the exception I'm gonna use is K6. What is K6? K6 is the room rate 3.5%. So make the F K6 absolute. So hold the Fn and F4. All right, and then close the parenthesis. And then we have to click enter. All right. Now we have to go to C9. C9. So we are in C9 now. We're gonna type equal to get 2027 the restaurant, other revenues. So B9 multiplied, open a parenthesis, 1 plus K7. K7 is all your exceptions. So if you're gonna see what is K7 is the restaurant 10%. Make it absolute. Fn and F4. Close the parenthesis, enter. Now we have to go to B10 equal B10 multiply, open a parenthesis, 1 plus K8. K8 is your exception for this part. Make the K8 to be absolute. So Fn and F4. And then that should give us that one. Now we want to find the event. So equal B11 multiplied, open a parenthesis, 1 plus the exception for the event, right, is K9. So let's check what is K9. The exception that you made, events 15%. make it absolute, F and F4. So that is done. Now we're gonna do, we will leave the corporate, right? So we're gonna go to C15. C15, the cost of good food and beverage equal B15 multiply open a parenthesis 1 plus K10. So let's see what is K10 in the exception. The expense 4%. So make it absolute. Hold the Fn and F4 together until you see the dollar sign before the column name and before the row. And then press the enter key. Next, if you want to display the formulas that you have used, you can do so. So how we gonna do that, right? You will go to the formulas, the formula tab, then you will go to formula ordering and then show formula. And then from here, you can check the formula that you have used. All right, so you can compare and see, is there any problem? Is everything accordingly you did? And then I'm just looking at this one here. So one more I need to do, this one here. The label, that's the one left. So the label is gonna be, let me flip it back. For the label is gonna be equal B16 multiplied, and then you're gonna say 1 plus K10, and then let's check what is the K10 again. The expenses, it looks like, yep. Now make the K to be absolute, so Fn F4. Close the parenthesis and press the enter key. Now let's go back to the formulas, formula ordering, show formulas. Perfect. Now we need to copy the formula with absolute cell reference using the fill handle, right? So let's flip it back, remove the show formulas. Now we need to select C4 all the way to 16, C16, and then we need to copy till F, column F. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So now we have to copy this one also, the margin and the percentage, and then we're gonna fill it with the fill handle. So now here I have, it says that there's a problem with this. So let's see again what I have used here. Okay, so the problem is I don't have the total, that's why. So let me go here and find the total of this. So remember this one, we added this. All right. So let's go back. Let's go back And let's see what they have there. Okay. Okay. So we did that. Everything is perfect. Now here, so we have, yeah, so we need to fill it down here. Right? Perfect. I didn't fill it. See this one here? We didn't fill the formula with the help of the fill handle. So I fill it down. So now we have all this. It should work now. Right? So the other one I have, so let's try again now. This one here, we need to fill this one too. That's the total, right? So let's fill it down, all the fill handle. So perfect. Now we will copy these two guys and fill it down, right? So let's see now what is this? Why do I have this? Right? So this one is the percentage actually. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we can copy this individually, the margin, right? Now this one, okay, so why we have one in here? So let's see again. This is the percentage, right? B19 divided by B13, right? So when you copy it here, and then what is B19? C19. So this number looks to me equal. Let's try again. This one is B13 minus B17. So that one is perfect, right? And then this one, B7, B9 all the way to this, perfect. And then so we have this 135, and then we have the formula here, K 4, B4, B6. So that one is perfect. All right. So the thing is, we have a problem with this one, the percentage. B13 minus B17. Okay, so I didn't fill it down this one too. Let me fill it down. Yeah, I didn't fill it, that's why. Now it should work. So a little bit, if you forgot something, then it's messed up your stuff. That's perfect now. I did not fill the total cost for the other years. Now to determine the row totals in a non-adjacent cells. So we need to select G7, G7, and then we have to hold the control key and select G9 all the way to G13. You still hold the control key. J15 all the way to G17, and then G19. All right. And then we're gonna go back to the home, editing, and then we will press the sum. So go back here, sum, right? So everything look perfect. All right, so this one, so just I'm telling the number. Oh yeah, we have to copy the if condition. Remember that one also. I didn't copy it, the if condition that we had for the corporate bonus, so you kind of fill it down. So now let's see. Did everything look perfect? Perfect now. I didn't see it actually. So once we have everything like this, now next next is adding and formatting a sparkline chart. Sometimes you might want to condense the range of data into a small chart in order to show the trend or variation in the range. So Excel standard chart might be too large or extensive for your need. So the sparkline chart provide a simple way to show the trend and variation in a range of data within a single cell. So Excel include three types of sparkline. You can have chart, line, and column, right? You will have three of them: line, column, and win/loss. All right. So because the sparkline chart appears in a single cell, you can use them to convey any information or eye-catching summaries of a data they represent. All right. So to do that, what we want to do now is that we have to go to, let's go up. So now we're gonna go to, let's where we have to put this. Let's select H4. H4 is here, H4. And then we're gonna go to insert. And then we're gonna go to Sparkline. And then we're gonna click on line. And then it's gonna ask you, what's your range? My range is from B4 all the way to F4, right? B4 all the way to F4, and then we want to get the answer displayed in H4. So click OK. So that's the spark line here, right? Now, the next thing is we did that. Now you can change the spark line style, right? Or you can copy it to the rest of your cells. So you can fill it and hold the fill handle, right? Now you can see that we have the spark line done. You can also move it a little bit more down, right? And then you can go here and fill this. So this one, we don't need it, it looks to me. All right. Or we can have the sum. So just I'm looking at, did they sum this? Okay. So that's the sum actually. So we need to go down here. It has to be 150. And then, so that one is 861. We're done with that one too. I didn't copy it. So this one is perfect. And then this one is perfect. All right. So now what we can do, you can change your spark line, right? Or if you want to change the style of it, you can go back, select, the whole thing will be selected, then look in the tab, you will see spark line, click on it, and these are the styles. And then you can use any of the style you want. All right. And now, what if you wanna change the spark line type, right? So what you can do is you can go back to the beginning here where it says type, and then you can select column. Now from here it's telling you what happened. You start with 40, then you had 42% in 2027, 2028, 44, and then 46, and then you did a wonderful job. In 2030, you have 48.62. So that's a perfect, in a small chart, you are getting all the thread and the variation for these 5 month projection. So now we have to save our workbook, file, save, browse, and then I will go to my desktop. I will click Excel, and then I will save this as SC underscore EX EX underscore 3 underscore hotel, and then hit the save key to save it. So now our workbook is saved. So the next thing now, we have to go to format the worksheet. So the next step is to format the worksheet to make it look nice, right? So let me move. And then I will try to shrink it down so you're gonna see what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's here. Now, the first thing we wanna do is, so give me a second. I wanna check if we need to change anything here. So everything look perfect. Now we need to assign format to the non-adjacent range. We need to assign formats to non-adjacent ranges. So let's select B4 all the way to B5, F5, B4 all the way to F4 here. Then hold the control down and select B20 all the way to G20. All right. Hold the control down, B20, B20 all the way to G20. So let me read again. B4 all the way to F4. Then we have to hold the control key and select B20, B20 all the way to G20. Release your finger from the control. And then we have to go to the number group. And then we have to click the percentage. On the group, click the percentage. So percentage. And then we have to increase the decimal. So number group, that's decrease, that's increase. So we want to increase to only one decimal place. Perfect. Next, now let's select B6 all the way to F7. Hold the control key. Select B9 all the way to G13. G13. Then B15 all the way to G17. So let me do it again. So you will select B6 all the way to F7. B6 all the way to B7. Okay, then hold the control key down. B9 all the way to G13. G G G13. Okay. Now we need B15 all the way to G17. Still hold the control key. And then we want B19 all the way to G19. You still hold the control and select G7 at the end. Now release your finger. And then we need to have the dollar sign. So go to the number group and then click the dollar. And then we have to decrease the decimal place twice, means we don't want the two decimal places. So you will go back here, decrease and Click it twice. 1, 2. Perfect. So one problem I did. So let me undo it again. So it was like this, right? So let me let me do again. Let me do again. So B4 all the way to F4, and then we have to hold the control key and then select B20, B20 all the way to G20. Okay, so I selected the average. So let's do it. Sorry, here. Then select B4 all the way to F4. Then hold the control key and select B20 all the way to G20. And then we had the percentage is already there, so that's perfect. Right. Now the next step we want to do is select B6 again. It's very, you need to be very accurate here. B6 all the way to B7. B6 all the way to B7. Here. Hold the control key. Select B9 all the way to G, B9 all the way to G13. Perfect. Then B15 all the way to G17. Then B19 all the way to G19, and then click G7. Still hold the control key. Now you can release it. Now we need to have the dollar amount. So go to the number, dollar, and then we need to shrink down the 2 decimal place. So delete it. Click decrease decimal 1, 2. Perfect. Why I have to undo this? Because mistakenly the percent was already been selected. So I don't want to select the B20 all the way to G20. So that's why I had to do this step again. Now the next is we have to format the worksheet title. So select the A1, and then we have to have the size 24. There you go. Then we have to go to A2, and then we have to change the size of A2 to 14. 14. All right. We need to apply the bold font to the row headers, right? So to do that, so we have to select, so we need to apply the bold font style to the row header cell A4, A5, so A4, A5, 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 right? And then we want A7, so hold the control key. And then we want A8. And then we want A13, A14, A17, A19. All right. And then we have the boldface. Go to the font, click B. All right. So, so the next thing now we want to do here is we have to select A1 all the way to H2, and then we have to fill it with green SN1. Is green SN1 60%. Green SN1 lighter. This will be the background. Now we need to select A1 and A1 all the way, which is already been selected. And we want to change the font color. And we want to make it dark gray. Dark gray. So dark gray text 2. So we want to see the gray color. Light gray. Dark gray, that's the one. Dark gray text 2. Next. And we can boldface this too. Perfect. Next. So let's see if everything done accordingly. Yes, perfect. Now we need to assign cell style to the non-adjacent rows and color to the cells. All right. So let's select A3, A3, all the way to H3. And then let's go to styles, style, and then heading 2. Heading 2 style. Now let's select A7 all the way to G7 and then hold the control key down. Select A13 all the way to G13. Still hold the control key. Select A17 all the way to G17. I have to do it again because I selected wrong. So we need to select A7 all the way to G7. Hold down the control key. Select A13 all the way to G13. Now select A17 all the way to G17. Now select A19 all the way to G19. Now release your finger from the control key. Let's go to the style group under the home tab. click on cell styles. And then this time we want to pick the total style, the total style, the total style. Next, we have to select A19, A19, all the way to G19. And then we have to fill the color. So go to the bucket, not the bucket, the bucket, the fill. And then we wanna apply blue, gray, SN3. So that's 80. Blue, gray, SN3, heighter 80. So that's the one we want. Click on it. Next, we need to copy the cell format using the Format Painter button. Using the Format Painter, you can format the cell quickly by copying the cell's format to another cell or a range of cells. So to do that, let's click on A19. A19. Now we have to go to the Home tab, Clipboard, and double click the Format Painter. And then we have to click on A7. As you see, my cursor has a brush with it. Click on A7. And then I want A13. I want to have the total cost of good. Click on it. And then finally, we have to press the escape key or click the Format Painter again to deselect. So obviously you copy the format in A19 to A7, A13, and also A17. Now next, what we want to do is to format the what if exception table, this one here. So let's select J3 all the way to K3. And then we have to go to the styles. And then we have to assign it heading 2, right? And then we have to do merge and center. So go to the alignment and click merge and center. All right. Now we have to change the width. So to change the width to fit it, we have to go to the format, and then we're gonna say auto fit the column width. All right. So we need to select the column G, select the J column, and then let's go to format, auto fit the column. All right. So I will select this again. Now we have to select J3 all the way to J11. And then we have to fill it with the green color. So go back here. And then we need to have green 80%. The green SN1 lighter 80%. That's the one. Now let's save though. Click anywhere to see. This is the background. Now hit the save key to save it. Now we have to work on adding a clustered column chart to the workbook, right? So the next step is now to demonstrate to you how to create a cluster column chart on a separate worksheet in the workbook. All right. So to do that, what we want to do here is that we have to select A3 all the way to F3, then hold the control key and select A9 all the way to F12. And then let's go to Insert tab, and then you will see the chart group, and then click on recommended, and then we're gonna stick with the first one, and then click OK. Now the problem is that the chart is on our data, so we need to move the chart in a separate worksheet. So if you see here, I am under the chart design, right? So you will have to click on move chart, move chart. So let me hide this. So you will have to select the chart, then look for chart design, and then click for move chart. And then you will click the first option, and then you will give it a name. You will give it a name. So the name is gonna be other. So that's the name of the worksheet for the chart. Other revenue chart. And then click OK. So the chart is being added in a new worksheet. All right. Next, we need to insert the chart title. Why do we need to have a chart title? Because the chart title is going to identify the chart content for the viewer. It's going to tell us what is this chart is all about, right? So to do that, we have to click on the chart here, title, and highlight it, and type 5-year space projected space other revenue. All right. And then the next thing is we want to highlight the message. Go back. You can look, you can highlight it again. And then we're going to underline it. Or you can go back to the home and underline under the font. All right. So we did that. Now let's click anywhere to deselect. So that's what we have typed. Now we need to add the data labels. So why do we need to add the data labels? Data labels can make the chart more easily to understood. So the data label can make the chart more easily to understood, right? Sometimes if you don't want it, then you cannot remove it, right? So now to do that, what we want to do here, so I need to see one thing here. Why do I have the line? So let me go back to the chart type. We need to have the column without the line. See, it select the combo. So be sure that you select the column. Okay. So obviously that's what we want to do. Or what we can do. So let's see again, chart. And then, so what we gonna do, I will just construct the stuff again. So because the chart was wrong, so I will delete it and I will do it again. Right click, delete. So let's do it again. Because the one I had was having a line in it. It shouldn't, right? So select A3 all the way to F3, then hold the control key. Select A9 all the way to F12. Let's go to insert, recommended, and then we need to select this one, the third one, the cluster column chart. Mistakenly, I didn't saw that one, so click OK. Now we will move the chart in its own worksheet, so click Move Chart. Then we have to name it. Click the New Sheet, and then we're gonna call it Other Revenue Chart. Click OK. Perfect. Now, as you see, the chart it is in its own worksheet. Now we need to change the title of the chart. So I will zoom a little bit. So I will go here, highlight, go back, and type 5 dash year projected other revenue. So I will push this here. Now we need to highlight in the mini toolbar, underline it. Now click anywhere. 5-year projected other revenue. Now we have to add the data labels. As I said earlier, the data label can make the chart more easily to understand or understood. Now to do that, we're gonna click the plus, which is the chart element, click on it, and then we need the data labels, right? Now, if you see the data level has an arrow with it for more option, and the outside end is the default. That's what you see there. Now, the next is you have to select to hide it. Now, the next is to apply chart filters. With some data, you might find that certain data series or categories makes it difficult to examine the differences and the pattern between other series or categories. So Excel allow you to easily filter the data series and categories to allow more in-depth examination of the subset of data. So to do that, the third icon into the chart, you see the chart, and then we have the third is the chart filter. Click on it. And then what we don't want is that we don't want the corporate bonus. So take it out of the check sign. And we want everything to examine except the corporate bonus. Now click apply and then click on the chart filter icon again. So that's what happened now. Now the next is to add access title to the chart, right? Often the unit of measurement or categories for the chart data is not obvious. So you can add an access title or the title for both access for clarity or completeness, right? As you see here, I don't have what that means here in y-axis. And if you go down, I don't have anything for the x-axis. You see that? So to do that, we will go back to the chart element and then we will click on axis and then click on this, right? And then we only, as you see now, I got the axis and y-axis, right? So we don't want the the horizontal axis. We want the vertical. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna remove the primary horizontal. As you see, it took it off. Except I have the primary vertical axis, right? So click anywhere here. Now we will put the dollar amount. So highlight, move your cursor inside and highlight, and then put the dollar sign, and then click anywhere. So that's the dollar. All right. Now you can also do right click on the dollar amount, format access title, right? And then you can also go to the last option, size and property, and then you can do your alignment, center vertically, or if you want to rotate, you can rotate that thing. So by default is rotate all text 270, right? So if you want, you can change it to horizontal. See? Now it's horizontal instead of being 270-degree. So you change it to so the axis title alignment changed to horizontal now, right? Once you have done with that, so then you can close the format axis title pane like this. Now the next is we have to change the style of the chart, right? So to change the chart style. So to do that, click on the chart and then we can go to the tab chart design, or I can use these guys. So both this and this one is the same. Either you want to do it from the ribbon or you want to do it from the shortcut icon here is up to you. So we want to have style number 14. So you have to scroll. When you move your cursor over, it's going to tell you what the style is. Now this is 7, this is 8, that's 9. So we're looking for 14. That's the 14. So click on it. Now if you go here also, that's the 14. Style number 14. All right. The next is now to organize. We need to organize the workbook now. So by renaming. So the first thing is we have to change the color of the chart. Yeah. So you will do right click on it and then you will go to the chart tab color and then you want the second row and number 7. Is that the one? It should be blue color. Blue, that's the one. Blue, gray, SN3, lighter 80%. Now we have to change the sheet one title. It says sheet one, so I don't know what you mean by sheet one. So we will click on sheet one and then double click it to highlight the sheet one, and then type 5 dash year financial space projection, because you have to name your sheets. Otherwise, sheet one, two, sheet three, four, five. We don't know what that means. So now my sheet name is 5-year financial projection. Now we need to have a tab color green. So let's do right click, tab color, and then we are looking for green. Green as one lighted 80%. That one is too light. So let's see. So that's the one here. Now, when you move around it, like let's say I'm here now, so that's the green kind of stuff. Okay. So if you don't see it, I can just give it a little bit more color, like I can make it a little bit darker. Now let's check it. See, if you go here, you will see the blue color. So unfortunately, the blue that the book says is too light. All right. Now the next is we have to reorder the sheets, because how come you have the chart and then you have the data? So we want to move the chart to the right of the 5-year financial. Now, what you need to do is select the other. You see, I have like a white piece of or a white paper kind of stuff. So drag it until you see the black down arrow with a vertical down arrow. Now release your finger here. Take out your finger from the left key. All right, so let me show you again. If you want to move the chart to the beginning until you see this down triangle arrow, there you go. Now we need the data worksheet to be the first, then the chart. So I will drag it to the right until I see the vertical black down arrow. Perfect. Now to check the spelling in multiple worksheets. So you have to click then hold the control. First, we will go back here and we will go back to the top, right? Now hold the control key and select the other revenue chart. When you did that, you should read here, it should say group. If it doesn't say group, then it means you did not, right? So what I did was I went to 5-year financial projection worksheet and I went to A1, and then I hold the control key and I selected the other revenue chart. When I did that, now I will go to review and then I will do spelling check. And it says that I don't have any problem. So click OK. Now to remove the grouping, you can just do right click on the 5-year financial projection and then you will click ungroup the sheets. Now if you look here, I don't see the group word anymore here. All right. So we took it off. So now all the two worksheets are individual now. So the next is to preview and print the worksheet, right? So let's go to File. So to do that, we are in the backstage, all right? So we're gonna do print, and then we will change the orientation to landscape. If you don't see all the stuff, then you can go to no scaling, fit the sheet in one sheet. So I can see everything now. Perfect. And then I can go here and then I can say print the entire worksheet. So now if you look down here, I have one of two. So if I click here, that's the chart. If I go back here, the first one has my data worksheet. All right. So after we did that, now what we want to do here, also you can do like this. If you go back here and you say active, so it says one of one, right? So if we do hold the control key and click on the other, now it's grouped. So let's go to file and let's do print. And then look now, both is been grouped now. See, I can see both of them now. All right. So I can go back. I can just right click on the first one and then I will say ungroup the sheets. Now we wanna changing the view of the worksheet to shrink and modify the view of a worksheet or a chart. So why do we need to shrink or modify the view of our worksheet? When you modify a worksheet, Excel enlarges the view of the characters on the screen, but shows a fewer columns and rows. Alternatively, when you shrink the worksheet, Excel is able to display more columns and rows. All right. So to do that, you can go to View, and then you can play with this here. Zoom, how much you want to zoom? 75% is going to be this. If you go back here, 100%, that's 100%. So I can see everything without the column being cut off. Next is we have to, the next is, so if you want to customize, so you will go here and then you will hit customize and then you're going to type what the customize you want, right? The percentage, so 115. So that's the 115. All right. Now you can go back and click 100%. That's 100. If you look here in the magnifier, is 100%. All right. Now to freeze the worksheet columns and rows. Freezing a worksheet columns and rows is a useful technique for viewing a worksheet. Normally, when you scroll down or to the right, the column content in the top rows and the row content in the leftmost column no longer appears on the screen, right? So actually what that means is if I go, let's say like this, you see it disappeared my stuff. So I don't know what to say now. I don't know. So I have to go back and then I have to read and see and then I have to type, right? So the freeze will help us to do that so I can see the stuff well. So what I will do is I will select here. So let me zoom down a little bit. So I will go to B4, the View tab, and then I will go to Windows, and then I will click Freeze Panes, and then I will click on Freeze, the first one. Now let's go here and see. See the first one. Now I know what the row titles are. All right. So I can type the revenue, the average, the restaurant, spa, events, and so on. If you want to get rid of it, you will go back and now you, instead of saying freeze bin, now unfreeze to unlock all the rows and column, right? Next is what if analysis. What if analysis is a decision-making tool in which changing input value recalculate the formulas in order to predict the various possible outcomes. So when a new data is entered, Excel not only recalculate all formulas in a worksheet, but also redraws any associated chart. All right. So if we go to K5, 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 which is the occupancy rate, and we change this to 4.25%. And then if I go to K7 or K9, so K9, and then we change this to 17 instead of 15%, 17. As you see that the chart and my spark line and my spark column and all the values has changed, right? Which caused the 5-year gross margin in cell G19 to change or to decrease, right? From 6081.43 to 6152, 651. All right. So save now. So whatever changes you do, your Excel will recalculate this worksheet again. Now we have something called goal seek. Goal seek is a problem-solving method in which you specify a solution and then you find the input value that produce the answer you want. So the goal seek is what is a problem-solving method in which you specify a solution and then find the input value that produces the answer you want, right? So in this example, what we want to do actually is that what if you want to change the 6 in G19, I have 6152, right? What if I want to change it to a value like 6, 5, 0, 0, right? 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, right? So in normal, if we have the calculator, it might take me the whole night to figure out how can I assign the G19, which is this value here, to change to my goal. My goal is to make it this. Now, Excel is gonna ask you if you wanna change this 6152, 651 to this value, what you want to change, which of these exceptions you want to change to achieve your goal. That's what the goal seek is, right? My goal is to make the G19 the 6,500 thousand, you can say. I want to change it to there, right? So using the goal seek in Excel, it makes it an easy to solve my problem, right? So let's do that. Let's see how we're gonna do it. All right. I hope you understand what the goal seek is. So I will move my cursor to G19. That's the cell I want to change it. All right. And then we're gonna go to data, and then we will go to the forecast group, what if analysis. We will click on goal seek. The goal seek dialog box is showing us this, right? So it says you want to set what cell you want to set. So we are already in G19, so that's perfect. You want to change it to what? What value you want to give the G19. So in the second box, click on it and type 6, comma 500, comma 1, 2, 3. I want to change it to this value, this one. By changing what? What you want to change to achieve this goal? I want to change the K5. I want to change what? K5. K5 is the 4.25, right? So click on the K5. So it's very straightforward. You want to set the G19 to this value by changing this occupancy rate 4.25%. So after you did that, we will click OK. And Excel did the requirement what you asked for, see? And say it instead of being 14 or so, it changed it to 7.94. So if we didn't have the goal seek, it might take us the whole night to figure out how and what percentage will be to achieve the goal. But Excel solved our problem by using the goal seek. Now here it tells us the stats of the goal seek stats, and then it says that everything is changed according to what you asked for, and then click OK. All right. Now the inside, it looks like the Excel I have, it doesn't have the inside. So it was under review, and it was somewhere here, the inside. So let me check again. Inside. So I don't have the inside option here, but if you are using other than that, you should see here a smart lookup, and then you should see the inside, and then you can click, and then actually what the inside lookup does is that suppose if you want to find out what is revenue, right? So to find out this, what actually we used to do was we used to go to Google and then we type whatever the revenue is, and then it's gonna tell you, right? Or the gross margin. So it's like searching. You search the Bing or Google Chrome, and then you want to look at more information about the content of your worksheet, right? So it's very surprised that they took it off, but it used to be under review, right? So I don't see that lookup, smart lookup, right? So the next thing now we want to figure out about accessibility feature. So what is an accessibility feature? Accessibility refers to the practice of removing barriers that might prevent individuals with disabilities from interacting with data or an app. So we need to check the accessibility command to see that if everything look perfect, if I don't have any issues. But if you look here in our status bar, it says accessibility investigate, right? So let's see. The accessibility checker can identify any issue that could prove difficult for people with disability to read, either alone or with adaptive tools such as the screen reader, right? So to do that, we're gonna go back to the review, we're gonna go back to the check accessibility, and then we're gonna look for here, check accessibility. So click on it. It says that everything look perfect except there's a problem here. Missing an alt text, missing an alternative text for the chart. So I will click on it to see what is that. So the chart doesn't have an alternative message. So suppose if somebody has an issue, so when I will move my cursor over it, it's gonna tell me what the alternative text for the chart is. So what is this actually? So to do that, we will go back to review, check, and then we're gonna put the alt, and then here we will select the chart here, and then we should be able to type it. Let's see again. It says that everything look good. So let me go back to the review, or you can also do this. Right click until you see view the edit text. And then let me take off this, mark as decorative, and then type. So you have to remove mark as a decorative and then type 5 dash year projected other revenue, right? Now close it. Let's close this one again. Let's check it again. So go back here, go to review, check accessibility. Then let's click on check. Look good, no issues found. So everything is perfect now. So the people with accessibility now, they will be able to see your stuff and look at your stuff. And then if you look in your status bar of your Excel, it says accessibility good to go. You see here what my flash indicates. All right. So the problem was missing an alternative text direction. After we have given that, so everything look what? Perfect, right? And this one is just to translate anything. Okay, so let's see if I select this. If you want to translate the gross margin into different languages, you can do so. Now, save what you have done. So this also ends my lesson. Also, you can type some information in your alternative look. You will go back here and then you're gonna do here and then right click, view the alternative text, and then here just I said 5-year protected other revenue, but the book has typed this message here, so actually they said type clustered column chart showing, this is for the people who have disability, showing an upward trend in the 5-year projected other revenue categories restaurant spa, comma, and even on the categories shown in the chart. All right. So that's actually what they want us to type there, right? So that's what they want us to type there. So just I typed 5 year projected other revenue, that's more than enough. But if you want to say something more than that, you can do so. So with that, it ends my video lecture for working with large worksheet chart and what if analysis. So I hope that you have learned a lot from this video, and be sure that you subscribe to the channel and also like my channel and also refer your friends and family so that I can do more nice videos and to make you master in Excel. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. Bye.